Товарищ Верховный Командующий, объединенная группировка войск ведет боевые действия в соответствии с планом специальной военной операции. Начальник генерального штаба генерал Дмитров.
Товарищи офицеры, товарищ Верховный Главнокомандующий, участники совещания к работе готовы. Начальник Главного оперативного управления генерал-полковник Рудской. Здравия желаю.
Comrade Commander-in-Chief, we have agreed that the troops will conduct combat operations in accordance with the plan of the Special Military Operation. The head of the General Staff, General Grudskoy. Speaker 8. Comrades officers, Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the participants in the meeting are ready to work. The head of the main operational department, General Colonel Grudskoy. Speaker 1. Dear comrades, good afternoon. Today we will hold another meeting on the situation in the Special Military Operation Zone. I know that you have something to report, something to please our citizens. There are results. We will talk about this, of course, and we will think about our next tasks for the near future. Today, I would like to ask the commanders of the Central and Eastern groups to report, as I have already said, on the current situation in these areas of the front, in your areas of the front, and on the results of the combat tasks performed by the troops. But first, as we have done in previous meetings of this kind, I would like to ask the head of the General Staff to report on the situation in general on the line of combat contact. Speaker 4. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the troops of the United Group are advancing in all directions. The commandment of the armed forces of Ukraine is making unsuccessful attempts to stop our advance. The units and military units of the Northern Group continue to carry out tasks to create security lines in the border areas of Sumy and Kharkov regions of Ukraine. The settlements of Vysokoye in the Sumy region and Vilcha and Prilipka in the Kharkov region have been under our control for the last 2 weeks. The troops of the Western Group are currently eliminating the enemy formations blocked on the left bank of the Oskol River in the east of Kupiansk. In the south of the Oskol River, the Novoplatonovka River has been liberated, and the Buguslavka River has been cleared. In the Krasnolimansk direction, the enemy group is encircled in the settlement of Drobyshevo and is being destroyed. In the Krasnolimansk direction, the battles are being fought in the southeast and eastern parts of the city. The southern group, after the liberation of Seversk, is advancing rapidly in the direction of Slavyansk. The settlement of Kirov has been liberated. The street battles continue in Konstantinovka. More than half of the urban development is under our control. The troops of the center group have completed the defeat of the encircled group of the armed forces of Ukraine and liberated the city of Dimitrov. The troops of the eastern group are advancing in the western direction in the Zaporizhia region and also in the territory of the Dnipropetrovsk region in order to create a security zone there. The city of Gulyaypole has been liberated. In addition, in the last 2 weeks, 5 more settlements have been taken under control in these directions. The expansion of the Plazdarma on the western bank of the Gachur River continues. The assault units of the Dnipropetrovsk troops are making offensive actions in the Zaporozhye direction. They have liberated the settlement of Stepnogorsk and are completing the destruction and formation of the enemy in Primorsky and Lukyanovsk. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the report on the completion of the tasks for the liberation of Donbass, as well as the Zaporozhye and Kherson regions, and the unification of the troops by the units of the United Group, will be continued. Speaker 1. Thank you very much, Valery Vasilyevich. I see that all the tasks that are before us are being carried out in accordance with the plan of the special military operation approved and developed by the General Staff. The creation of a security line in the border areas of Sumy, Kharkov, Dnipropetrovsk regions, Donbass and the Zaporozhye regions is being carried out at a good pace. The offensive is taking place along the entire line of combat contact. The Russian troops are increasing the pressure on the formation of the armed forces. I would like to ask Valery Nikolaevich to report on the situation in the area of your responsibility. Speaker 3. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the troops of the Center Group continue to carry out the task of destroying the enemy in the designated line of responsibility in accordance with the approved plan. The 5th Motorized Infantry Brigade of the 51st Army, in cooperation with the 1435th Motorized Infantry Regiment of the 2nd Army, completed the destruction of the formation of the armed forces of Ukraine in the city of Dimitrov, and thereby completely liberated the city. At present, the evacuation of civilians and the stabilization of the situation around Dimitrov and Krasnoarmysk is being carried out. In addition, the 9th Motorized Infantry Brigade of the northern Krasnoarmysk-Dmitrovskaya enclosure has liberated the city of Rodinsk and the settlement of Volnaya. The fighting continues in the settlements of Suketskaya and Novy Donbass. The Union and military units of the Second Army carry out reconnaissance operations in Krasnoarmysk, develop offensive in the northern direction, evacuated more than 2,100 civilians. The assault units of the 41st Army carry out offensive actions in Grishino. The enemy uses this settlement to concentrate the reserves and conduct an attack in the direction of the northwestern part of Krasnoarmysk. At the same time, the enemy cannot achieve any results. Every day, the enemy loses from 60 to 120, 140 people in the direction of Grishino, Shevchenko, Sergeyevka, Krasnoarmysk, Kotlino. The infantry continuously moves in the direction of these settlements. I would like to note that this is the elite of the armed forces of Ukraine. This is the 82nd Assault Brigade, the 95th Assault Brigade. They carry the losses without glory. Nothing works there. In the direction of Oktyabrsk, the settlement of Artemovka has been liberated. This is an important settlement, which is one of the key points for further offensive in the northern direction, in order to encircle the strategic defense line of the enemy, which passes through Konstantinovka, Druzhkovka, Kramatorsk, and Slavyansk, the encirclement of the western direction. The offensive is also developing in the Dnipropetrovsk region, where we carry out your instructions on the creation of a security zone with the Donetsk People's Republic. The 90th Tank Division, in cooperation with the 41st Army, is liberating Novopavlovka. The battles continue in Novopodgorod. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, all the tasks that lie ahead of the group will be carried out. The report is over. Speaker 1. Thank you, Valery Nikolaevich. You mentioned the successful actions of the 5th Artillery Brigade. Colonel Romil Renarovich Voskudinov is in touch with the command post of this brigade. Romil Renarovich, do you hear us? Speaker 5. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, Brigade Commander, Colonel Voskudinov. Hello, I hear you. Great. Speaker 1, please report on the situation in the city, how the assault was carried out, and what the situation is now. Speaker 5, Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the brigade units on September 6 to December 26, 1925, carried out the task of liberating the city of Dnipropetrovsk. Based on the current situation, the combat mission was divided into 3 stages. On the first stage, on September 6 to 30, the reconnaissance battalion of the brigade, using the effect of surprise and the result of a fire strike, broke through the defense of the enemy and advanced up to 1 kilometer in depth, creating a bridgehead in the settlement. They managed to secure themselves on the northeastern outskirts along the streets of Mira and Koshevo. The invasion and assault groups were carried out simultaneously from different directions, misleading the enemy without determining the direction of the main blow. On the second stage, from October 1st to November 22nd, in order to block the path of supply to the enemy in the city, the assault groups of the 1st and 3rd Battalions besieged the forest strips and the clearing station in the north of Dnipropetrovsk. thereby cutting off the message to the encircled group of the USSR. Using the reached borders and weather conditions, the assault groups carried out a rapid attack on the southeastern outskirts of the city. As a result of continuous assault actions, by the end of November 22nd, the southern part of Dnipropetrovsk was completely liberated. On the third stage, from November 23rd to December 27th, increasing the efforts of the assault groups of the 1st and 3rd Motorized Shooting Battalions. By December 7th, the brigade was secured in key positions in the city center. Subsequent liquidation of the encircled enemy continued. Today, on December 27, 2025, the brigade completed the defeat of the USSR in the city. The city of Dnipropetrovsk is completely liberated. Currently, buildings, facilities, basements, and residential blocks are being checked. The search for the destruction of the scattered small groups of the enemy has begun in the demining of streets and buildings, providing medical and humanitarian assistance to the local population. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, at the moment in touch with Dnipropetrovsk, is the commander of the 1st Motorized Shooting Company, Senior Lieutenant Selenko Vladimir Vyacheslavovich, who with his unit liberated the city. Allow me to give him the floor. Speaker 1, please, with pleasure, please, Vladimir Vyacheslavovich. Speaker 7, Comrade Commander-in-Chief, I am the commander of the 1st Company of the 1st Battalion of the 5th Brigade. I am in the city of Dnipropetrovsk, near the Viktorov Church. On December 27, 2025, the city is under our control. The city is being cleared. We provide humanitarian assistance to the local population. We are building defense. We are ready to carry out further combat missions. I would like to congratulate you on the upcoming new year. I wish you good health, peace, and prosperity. Victory is ours. Speaker 1. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, for this very effective combat work and for the result. I congratulate both Ramil Renarovich and Vladimir Vyacheslavovich, all our fighters, officers, who showed not only courage and heroism, but also the competent management of the troops and timely decision-making. I know that the head of the General Staff reported about Ilya, what is called wits and courage. Thank you very much. And also, in response, take the best wishes from me. Happy New Year. Congratulations, guys. Thank you. Now, please, let's move on to the situation in the zone of responsibility of the Vostok Group. Andrei Sergeyevich, please. Speaker 6. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the Vostok troops continue to carry out tasks in the Zaporizhia direction. The military units of the group forcing the Gulyaypole River are advancing in the Zaporizhia region in the western direction. The assault units of the 57th and 60th Airborne Brigades of the 5th Army completed the liberation of the city of Gulyaypole by the end of December 26th. The residential quarters of the city were turned into a fortified area by the enemy. It took 20 days to overcome the deep-sealed defense of the Air Force. At present, Gulyaypole is under our full control. A search and destruction of a single group of the Air Force is being carried out. The units of the 36th Army broke through the defense line of the enemy on the western bank of the Gulyaypole River, advancing in the Zaporizhia region in the direction of the enemy's large logistical nodes. The enemy's defense depth was more than 7 kilometers. The 29th Army, advancing in the south of the Dnipropetrovsk region, continues to expand the security zone. Since the beginning of December, more than 210 square kilometers of the territory of the Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporizhia regions have been liberated, including 10 residential areas in the Dnipropetrovsk Region 4 and Zaporizhia Region 6. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the destruction and formation of the enemy in the zone of responsibility of the group is being carried out in accordance with the approved plan. The Vostok Army Group continues to lead the offensive. The report is over. Speaker 1. Andrei Sergeyevich, as far as I understand, the commander of the 57th Motorized Rifle Brigade, Colonel Redinin, is also in touch with us. Yes, sir. Vyacheslav Evgenievich, can you hear us? Can you see us? Speaker 2. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the commander of the 57th Motorized Rifle Brigade, Colonel Redinin, good day to you. I hear and understand you well. Speaker 1. Excellent. Vyacheslav Evgenievich, please report the situation in Gulyaypole. Speaker 2. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the 57th Motorized Rifle Brigade of the 5th Army conducts an offensive on the left flank of the Vremya direction on the designated offensive line. On December 7th, I received the task of cooperating with the units of the 60th Motorized Rifle Brigade to advance in the direction of Yablokovo-Gulyaypole, and by the end of December 26th, to liberate the settlement of Gulyaypole. On December 5th, using the difficult weather conditions, the fog, the advance groups of the assault detachment crossed the Gulyaypole River, immediately occupying the areas of Bolshaya Street, Mirnaya Street, Peshanaya Street. Thus, having created a bridgehead on the left bank of the Gulyaypole River, we split the central and eastern part of the Gulyaypole settlement, providing it for the introduction of the main forces. On December 7th, the units of the 1st Echelon of the 1st Assault Battalion successfully reinforced the Gulyaypole River in 3 areas, fortified themselves on the streets of the Gulyaypole settlement, defeated the units of the 225th Assault Regiment of the 102nd Territorial Defense Brigade and the 154th Separate Mechanized Brigade, and within 10 days completely liberated the southeast part of the Gulyaypole settlement, seized it by the enemy's strongholds, cleared about 1,600 buildings, destroyed up to 400 Ukrainian militants. In the future, by increasing the efforts of the 2nd and 3rd Battalion, the direction of the main strike from south to north, attacking along the Gulyaypole River, along the Bolshoi Street, and along the western part of the Gulyaypole settlement, above Shevchenko Street, simultaneously with the units of the 60th Brigade, thereby blocking the enemy in the Gulyaypole settlement, completely blocking all routes of the evacuation. Further, by squeezing the ring, blocking its multi-story building, clearing the private sector of the Gulyaypole settlement, and gradually, quarterly, clearing the house building, destroying and defending the enemy. At the beginning of December 26th, the brigade completed the clearing of the Gulyaypole settlement. The city is under our control. At the moment, the units of the brigade are rechecking the building and the basement in order to destroy the building and the basement. I would like to thank all the units of the brigade, the single servicemen of the Air Force who can still hide in the urban development, as well as providing assistance to the civilian population and, if necessary, its evacuation. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, the 57th Brigade continues to carry out combat missions to liberate the Zaporizhia region. All permanent tasks will be completed. The report is over. Speaker 1. Thank you, Vyacheslav Sergeyevich. Thank you very much for this result to all your soldiers and commanders. I would like to say in this part of our meeting that the liberation of Dimitrov and the liberation of the Gulyaypole settlement are important results of the combat work. As for Dimitrov, this is a serious step towards the complete liberation of the Donetsk People's Republic. Gulyaypole is the second largest city in the Zaporizhia region. After its liberation, there are good prospects for the development of the offensive in the Zaporizhia region. I congratulate you all on these results. Thank you very much. In conclusion, I would like to say that the armed forces of the Russian Federation firmly hold the initiative and continue to carry out the tasks of the special military operation on the entire line of combat contact. I would like to note the effective actions of the units and military units of the troops in the center during the liquidation of the formations in the ISU encircled in the area of the Red Army Dimitrov agglomeration. Control over the cities of the Red Army Dimitrov creates, as I have already said, good conditions for the further development of the offensive and the complete liberation of the Donetsk People's Republic. The capture of the city of Gulyaypole in the Zaporizhia region by the storm units of the Fifth Army is a natural result, which became possible thanks to the hard work of the commanders and staff and the careful all-round preparation of the personnel for the combat missions. The high pace of the offensive of the units and military units of the Vostok Group allows us to move forward, liberating the Zaporizhia region. As far as I understand, all this is happening practically on the shoulders of the enemy. I would like to ask the commanders and those commanders who are in touch with us to convey words of gratitude to the entire personnel of the groups who fulfilled the tasks of the liberation of Dimitrov and Gulyaypole. The commanding troops must continue to carry out the tasks in accordance with the plan of the special military operation. What else would I like to add to the conclusion of our meeting today in this format? I will remind you, I have said this more than once, but I will remind you again, that the confrontation and the hostilities began after the coup d'etat in Ukraine in 2014. At that time, we told the leaders of the Kiev regime that they should provide the opportunity to the people living in the southeast of Ukraine who did not recognize the results of this coup d'etat, who do not want to live in a country where the primary source of power is the coup d'etat, to provide them with their legal right to self-determination. This right is prescribed in the Charter of the United Nations. It is called the right of the nations to self-determination. But unfortunately, neither then in 2014 nor later in 2020 did anyone listen to us. The Kiev authorities preferred to carry out large-scale hostilities, to start a war. We are trying to end this war. From the very beginning, as I said, we said that it was necessary to withdraw the troops of the Kiev regime from these territories. There will be no hostilities. There would be none if we had been listened to. Now we see that in the West, there are also smart people who recommend the Kiev authorities to adopt worthy conditions for the end of the conflict and provide good basic conditions for ensuring the security of Ukraine for the long term. The conditions are to restore relations with the Russian Federation and to restore the economy of Ukraine. But we see that today, unfortunately, the heads of the Kiev regime are not in a hurry to resolve this conflict with peaceful means. I spoke about this a year ago when I was speaking at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But today, judging by your reports, judging by the pace we are observing on the battle line, our interest in withdrawing the Ukrainian military formations from the territories occupied so far is actually reduced to zero, for different reasons. If the Kiev authorities do not want to end the matter peacefully, we will resolve all the challenges we face in the course of a special military operation by means of arms. Let us now talk about this. Let us talk about the closest challenges to the groups whose commanders are now here at our meeting.